Hello and welcome to the Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film or series based on the demands or stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. As professional screenwriters ourselves and massive cinephiles, we talk movies all the time. And we'd like to believe that we can meet any demand thrown at us right here on the spot. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TC DeWitt, and joining me, as always, is Jim, the Sneezer Berzelic.
Yeah.
You're the sneezer.
Yep.
I had someone recently comment that fake sneezing sounds fake. Like that no one, like, you can't fake a sneeze. A real sneeze sounds real, and acting a sneeze sounds fake. And I disagree. I think there are plenty of people who can fake a sneeze. You're the sneezer. You want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second. I gotta pull a nostril hair.
No, that's a real sneeze.
Oh, fine. I will not pull a nostril hair. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah? Did that sound real?
That was a real sneeze. No, you got to do a fake one.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
No, I said you got to do a fake one.
Okay. All right. One more time. This is a fake one this time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Not believable.
Damn it.
It came from the shit. No, the better joke would have said to say it was a sneeze. Dang it.
You ruined it, Jim.
I did.
Yeah. Do you
Rule of three.
I
only did two.
No, you could break the pattern. That's good comedy too. To be like, this happens, then this happens, and then it's the other thing. That's the comedy rule of three right there.
To break it?
It could be.
I don't know. Could be.
I don't know. Sneezing up.
Just rulesing. I don't know. Comedy's funny.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say about sneezing? Since I dubbed you, I revealed your middle name is the Sneezer. Like, why do they call you that?
On account of how often and professionally I sneeze.
Oh, can you fake a sneeze, or is it always real?
No. I only give genuine sneezes.
You are a method sneezer.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what's your technique in you're acting in a movie that requires a sneeze? What's your technique? Pepper.
I look at the light.
Oh, you
Yeah.
Okay.
With the photo sneezes.
Well, you're the sneezer. You would know what that's called. What's it called, sneezer?
I just call it making money.
Autosomnal dominant compelling helio ophthalmic outburst is what.
And that's what I said. I already said that.
The tendency to sneeze when exposed to bright light is called photic sneeze reflex, or achoo syndrome. And achoo stands for autosomal dominant compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst. Achoo.
Someone worked real hard to make that happen.
Interestingly, it only works
like the SHIELD acronym.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Strategic Homeland in. Wait. You're talking about SHIELD from Marvel.
SHIELD, yeah.
The Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off the top of the dome on that one.
Yep. There was no typing or looking at screens. You just remember Iron Man really well.
I just do.
You do.
Yeah. Wow, this is the most meandering beginning to
really
an episode
is.
yet. Let's get into this. Okay. Hello, everyone. No, I already did that. I think that does it for this episode. Oh, no, that's also the wrong spot. Here we go. Bloop. Speaking of giving it a go, Jim, our amazing listeners have given us demands from studios literally all over the world. And you listening now, you can send us any demand you like, and we will have to meet it right here on the spot. And when we reach the end of the episode, if we've done our jobs, we'll have pitched a full script and story meeting or even exceeding those demands. And when the end of the season comes, your demand could have helped us craft the script that will be greenlit by our fans for our finale, for production. Thank you, everyone who has submitted. Keep them coming. And we have two demands today that work in tandem. Are you ready?
Tandem me.
Tandem you. Okay.
Oh, that sounds
sounded dirty.
Yeah.
Great. We got to put the little M next to our rating now for mature content.
Oh, is that what the M stands for?
What did you think it stood for?
Meaty.
Hey, let's keep it PG here. I don't want to hear about your meaty and tandeming. Oof.
Look, some people like their meats solo.
Uh-huh.
Some people like their meats in tandem.
What is this?
I don't know. This is going to be a weird episode.
Okay. This demand comes from Klaus at Salt and Pepper Shaker Studios. Hey, guys. With AI and robotics advancing faster than ever, science fiction is becoming science reality. The future is coming, and thus it's time to rebuild the greatest robot protector in history. Only I demand you set aside the kid-friendly cartoon and reimagine an action-packed film franchise. I want a blockbuster trilogy of Inspector Gadget. You must cast the key players of Gadget, Dr. Claw, Penny, Chief Quimby, Brain Can Remain a Dog, Go-Go-Gadget. Thank you, Klaus. Now, seeing as we had a sense Inspector Gadget was going to be the demand, we've now seen what the demand is. But in just consolidating notes here, I noticed we had someone who typoed Inspector Gadget, so there was a second Inspector Gadget demand, which is from ZBGB at Mirror Magic Studios, and ZB says, back in the 80s, 2 men in law enforcement were enhanced with robotics and used by the law to clean up the streets. While RoboCop is more remembered, I remember when Augustin Tamer, a.k.a. John Brown, a.k.a. Inspector Gadget, I didn't catch that. Is Augustin Tamer his real name? I thought it was John Brown. Augustin Tamer, a.k.a. John Brown, a.k.a. Inspector Gadget, was unleashed on the criminal world. From 2015 to 2018, there was a 52-episode series of cartoons that saw Gadget brought out of retirement to fight Claw. Penny and Brain officially worked with him, and Dr. Claw's nephew, Talon, was introduced. There's a wealth of fun to be had with Gadget. My studio demands a new iteration. It must be fun and adventurous. Avoid cheesy camp, and as a Jim, I didn't catch this. Your name's here. As a wild card to possibly get Jim's favorite genre in, feel free to set this in any decade you think would be the most fun. Go-Go-Gadget Reboot. Inspector Gadgets.
So did they refer to episodes we didn't know about, or was there another Inspector Gadget thing we didn't know about?
From 2015 to 2018, there was another season produced of not even a season.
I was
3
unaware
seasons,
of that.
52 episodes of a secondary cartoon that sees Dr. Claw brought back. Gadget's brought out of retirement to fight Claw. Penny and Brain. It was a 3D CG, no longer 2D. And then Dr. Claw had a nephew named Talon. Penny and Brain worked beside Gadget instead of behind his back.
Yeah,
making him succeed. Go-Go-Gadget Reboot from both of you. Thank you, Klaus. Thank you, ZBGB. There's plenty of overlap here. They want a reboot of Gadget. They're asking for a movie. They're asking for it to be fun. Klaus was a little more kind of sounds like he's leaning towards gritty. Set aside the kid-friendly cartoon, action-packed film. And then ZB says, avoid the cheesy camp. And you get the wild card if you want it, that this can be set in any decade. And I think that I believe that's the assumption that you'd want to set this as a cowboy movie. Thank you for
Inspector Gadget, the Western.
But there it is. Okay, so there we go, Jim.
Here we go.
So we knew this was coming. Now that we've seen the demands, we kind of had the assumptions that the studio was asking us to come in to pitch
to do some Inspector Gadget stuff.
Yeah, we watched the Matthew Broderick version, which neither of us had ever seen.
Yeah.
And we did watch a few of the cartoons, the original series.
Yeah, and that movie started as a good kid family movie.
Yeah,
and then it either just kept being. I think it hit a plateau where it was just it wore thin, or it became insufferable.
Insufferable is it became dull and just the lowest of hanging fruit. And initially that opening sequence, which is very cartoony, I compared it to Speed Racer a little bit. Just like, what a surreal world, and it was a dream sequence. And and then it became like the age it was targeted at got lower and lower as the movie went along, and it became
which is a little weird.
It became harder and harder to enjoy.
Yeah.
It was cute, but in the grand scheme of things, it made sense why it's not this beloved film of people's youths.
I am nodding.
But a new Inspector Gadget. I mean, it's funny they evoked RoboCop because the premise is the same here. A police officer is injured to the point of needing to be rebuilt.
That was added in the movie. In the original show, I don't think that's never addressed. He just is.
Okay, but they did imply.
Well, I mean, they do have the in like one of the episodes we watched. They do have the doctor scientist guy that put him together. So I guess it's insinuated something had happened to him.
Yeah, and it makes sense because syndicated cartoons like that couldn't have a deep ongoing lore to it because they would just play him on a loop endlessly.
You would think so, but literally, 2 episodes previous, we did the original Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters.
The original Ghostbusters.
The real
the
one.
The original Ghostbusters. And that one actually did have an intro and origin to the characters.
But then you're right, and every episode kind of worked as a 2-parter or a 3-parter.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
so I think that should be the gold standard.
The real Ghostbusters.
The original Ghostbusters.
Something that
that's not what this is about.
Inspector Gadget. The original cartoon run, season 1 was Bad Guy of the Week, but season 2 and into 3 they introduced reoccurring villains that they could keep recycling and bring them back. So there was a little bit of history established and reoccurring, which is more in line with something like Darkwing Duck or DuckTales, cartoons of the era that would have it's that bad guy again, and kind of just and not even, that's not like I'm giving credit to those Disney cartoons because Batman with Adam West, it's just pretty standard to go, let's just recycle villains so that we can do 5 episodes of this bad guy, 5 episodes of this bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you feel compelled at all to set this in a different era as opposed to modern day?
No. If I would, it would end up being like the 60s maybe. And then it's going to start feeling a lot like an Austin Powers.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Not that it's going to be like this lewd sex romp, but I guess I don't fully know the Inspector that he was originally based on. I mostly just think like Pink Panther,
Inspector Clouseau.
And
it was more inspired by Maxwell Smart, like that sort of screwball comedy.
The guy who did the voice,
Don Adams.
Yeah.
So let's just the bare bones of this is Cyborg Man fights crime.
Yep.
And crime is perpetrated by this Dr. Claw. I have a memory of you pitching this long ago. I don't even know why this would have come up, so I'm going to bring it up here. And I believe it was you who did this, that suggested that Dr. Claw is sort of an original iteration of Inspector Gadget. Like Dr. Claw
that actually does sound familiar.
Was that Dr. Claw was an agent that was given robotic enhancements and then fell out with whatever organization developed him, went rogue, and then Inspector Gadget came along to now be like the new iteration.
He's sort of like the 2.0.
Yeah. Like the better version. Do you think there's something to that?
Yes. Because if we go with sort of what the original show, which we're supposed to disregard, and the movie, which we're supposed to disregard, suggested is there was this a well-meaning, benevolent scientist who kind of founded the technology. But if it's a little bit like I never remember the super soldier serum from Marvel.
Ernst.
If he's a little bit like Ernst, where like he has been trying this, and maybe some not so well-meaning people had been a part of the project earlier.
Erskine.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Erskine. Yeah.
Erskine. Right. Maybe because he's a doctor, right? Dr. Claw was a part of this previously as well.
Oh, so not even like the agent who was originally utilized to do it, but maybe part of the original building of what would become the Inspector program, the Gadget program, we'll call it.
Because a bunch of the Dr. Claw basically would have used a bunch of that technology on himself.
You've gone mad, Claw! You can't keep doing this to yourself! I'll do whatever I want. Oh, I have an idea.
Idea me.
Okay, I like this notion that that it was a program, super soldier-esque, of trying to develop it's a RoboCop-esque, but RoboCop's very like corporatized. Like, is this benevolent scientists, or do they work for the government? Like, where does this program begin?
At a corporation called Omnicorp. OCP.
No. Okay, let's say it's a program, a government program. We'll just start there.
Okay.
That they believe they can enhance. It's just RoboCop. Okay. Let's. Okay, it's two scientists. It's the guy.
Dr. Light and Dr. Wiley decide to put together a robot.
Here's my thought. And this is sort of inspired by ZB's suggestion it could be from any decade. Let's say a robotics program has existed as like a black ops program for decades, that they have been trying to build robotic soldiers or law enforcement for 70 years. Even let's say it started in World War II. This may sound like I'm lifting from Captain America, but just go with me on this.
I would say even previous to that. It's just there has been robotics has been a thing that has happened for decades.
Yes. Okay. A century. That's the sneezer right there, folks. That sounded real.
Good. Good, because it was. I don't have a joke here. It was a real sneeze.
So this robotics has been, I'm gonna say, a century.
And essentially, what we can allude to, we can point to things like
Oh, here comes some more, folks. Stop showing off. He can't help himself. Again.
What is happening?
That sounded real.
This room is full of sneezes.
Okay.
We can point to like Metropolis, right? And we can point to all these things, and I'm thinking like I guess you could say like a secret society, like a Freemasons or an Illuminati kind of thing, think tanks and secret groups with handshakes and stuff.
Yeah.
have been working towards
robotics, cybernetics.
And sometimes to nefarious ends and selfish ends, and sometimes for the betterment of mankind. That's sort of what the group has been struggling with back and forth.
I've pitched this many times. I was like I'm going over this well over here. Einstein, Tesla, like having them somehow involved in the history of this pursuit.
Sure.
Okay. So now I have a notion.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Claw, as like the top villain, has been recovering and utilizing and unleashing onto the world at large all of the robots that have ever been built by this organization. This clandestine organization has a museum's worth of cyborgs that Dr. Claw uses to make his army. So that the sort of the villains that Inspector Gadget is going to have to go through to get to Dr. Claw over the course of this film is... Oh, you said a crap?
I did say crap.
What's up?
This is real close. It's not exactly
no.
But I made a joking reference to it a moment ago, but it's lining up to be Mega Man.
Oh no. Okay. That's right. As long as someone in the movie calls him Mega Man to his face, we lampshade it. We got Mega Man over here.
Some kind of Mega Man.
What do you think of that though? Of like having a cyborg that he has to fight that's from World War II, a freaking cowboy cyborg, like a steampunk one, just kind of giving him lieutenant villains to kind of work his way through in his pursuit of taking down Dr. Claw. As you know, this creates set pieces.
It does. I think for Dr. Claw's purposes, and to make it a little more believable, I think the grand plot should be do so, like you have this whole intro montage that kind of like shows photographs and footage of the group and their tests over the decades from the early 20th century moving through, and then suggest that the group disbanded at some point.
Over some like some disagreements.
Yeah, somewhere in like the 80s or something like that.
The government tried to come in and take over our program. It was never about creating weapons for the government.
Maybe something like that. And so then they all sort of went their separate way. This isn't quite work. Ultimately, I think what it should come to is Dr. Claw isn't necessarily using his cowboy robot and
World War I robot.
Yeah, he's his doughboy Doughboy. That's hard to say.
Robo Doughboy.
He's not doing that. What Dr. Claw is doing, yes. What Dr. Claw is doing is he is replacing people in high up positions with cyborg versions.
Okay.
Right. Like.
Okay.
Dr. Claw is replacing the president,
Emmanuel Macron,
with a robot Macron, and so forth. All prominent people he is replacing to control as robots.
So it's a real rule the world scenario here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get you, Gadget, next time.
Yeah, and Inspector Gadget needs. So now we need to bring him in. So, and he's there.
No, I'm fine. Working out what the villain is doing. Okay. Having Gadget exist as an agent that can be called upon. I'm of the mind of we don't need to know this origin. Like we can maybe get hints of how this guy Augustin what was the name?
Tamir.
That we could get hints of the origin here, but I say we breeze past it. The cartoon.
Well, I'm imagining an intro, and like an intro in the movie, and we see through image, like we don't need explanation. Sort of like in the King Kong Godzilla movies. We get this montage of Monarch forming and stuff like that.
Or The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Yeah.
They just kind of, like, you saw this a few years ago, just roll with it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm thinking something like that, where that's where we're seeing the rise of this organization. And through that, we could even see the downfall. Literally, our scientist, he's a renegade. He's a whistleblower. And the organization, the clandestine, evil, robotic scientists, they're all taken down by this renegade whistleblowers. His one robot, Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, and he is like the.
So he's already a celebrated hero.
Cool. Yeah, the public accepts that a cyborg man takes care of business. Don't make him clandestine. You think he's a public figure that people know about. Okay.
And all those scientists have been arrested, and they're in prisons and stuff, and so all of that technology has been confiscated and whatnot. Oh man, what did you do in this room?
I don't know. I put all these sneezes around. You just keep finding them hidden under things. Yeah. Cat hair? I don't know. Are you allergic to cats?
No, I'm not allergic to cats.
You are now. Surprise.
Oh no.
Okay, so go on. Your pitch is strong.
But Dr. Claw was the one that got away.
Mhm.
And now he shows up decades later, or he doesn't show up. People start getting replaced. I don't know how our main character stumbles upon this, but he does.
Yeah.
Or maybe his creator is killed, and it's a mysterious death.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be. He's very old. The government, the public, they're all like, no, he died of old age.
He was 100 years old. It was going to happen.
And our guy's like, no, it wasn't, because I'm a detective. I don't.
He comes into the so a little bit. I'm going to evoke a movie you don't like.
Go for it.
iRobot.
A little bit iRobot, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of that.
So if the creator has been killed under mysterious circumstances and then investigating it, Inspector Gadget coming in to inspect and be like, this man was killed by a robot.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Something like that.
Now, with your notion of replacing figures with robots, they're like...
maybe that's how it starts. His creator has been replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of how he figures it out, finds it out. And why is he on his own, though? Because no one believes him. They're like, he must have been a robot the whole time. I'm not sure.
Well, we do have Quimby as his handler and Penny
Mm-hmm.
being his partner in crime. Mm-hmm. That's interesting that the newer cartoon just said, we're not making him incompetent, and Penny and Brain are doing all the work behind his back. They are now working with him.
Yeah.
So having Penny be
the guy in the van.
Yeah, a young woman of action as well. I like the notion that she could be able to kick some ass.
She's the Oracle to Inspector Gadget's Batman.
Yeah. Now the thing of replacing prominent figures to then fight, is that fantastical enough? Like when it comes time to throw down, are we? I hate to evoke Sexatron from Transformers 2. Is that what you're thinking? Like when the fight needs to happen, they reveal their robot.
They have robot sex.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. No. I mean, no to the robot sex. Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Right?
That they have guns in their arms and
Yeah.
I will not be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight you, Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
Not feeling it?
I don't mind it, but what I'm the notion of being able to have Inspector Gadget fight robots that look like fighting cyborgs that are like cobbled together and look like he's the best version of these guys. To know that there are other replicants out there or life model decoys, to borrow from Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally willing to go down that path, but imagining him fighting basically theme villains that have a little more original, like unique look about them, like a steampunk robot and a cowboy robot.
I guess in my mind that goes very Mega Man and doesn't really play into the idea. What is he inspecting?
Sure. So you are right. If he's Inspector Gadget, he needs to be investigating something, and so giving him a crime, like a murder mystery, a trail to follow. Yes, you're right.
You are not who you appear to be.
Yes,
and I still am totally fine. Like we can find themes to have them like reveal their robotic abilities for. Mm-hmm. I just keep thinking president, and so I guess he has president lasers. I don't know.
President lasers?
Yeah. Classic lasers only fired by presidents.
That's right. Started by FDR with his little mechanized chair that he used to sit in.
Yeah, see, you remember.
Yeah. I know my history. Okay, don't test me.
I'm trying to think of other, who would be prominent figures that Dr. Claw would want to replace.
Oh, dude, I got a better thing than world leaders.
Okay.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg,
business leaders,
billionaires.
Yeah,
that's who Dr. Claw is taking. Yeah. I'm not going to take over the world by getting presidents and queens.
The nations of the future are the corporations.
Because then it's way easier to trick those idiots into doing some of the tech building for him. Mm-hmm. That then he having Mark Zuckerberg be like, well, I really worked on this.
Oh, that's what it is. He recruits them. He recruits all of these new business tech bro moguls because he's like, we're going to reassemble the Legion of Technocratic Doom.
It's MAD, his organization, the Malevolent Agency of Destruction.
He's reassembling MAD, and he's using them because all of his previous scientists have all been arrested.
Yeah, so then he's tricking these buttheads into doing like all the tech building for him and then replacing them.
Yeah.
So then we can have Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos getting beat up by Inspector Gadget. Just analogs for them.
Analogs for them, yep. It'd be fun if one of them is just a series of drones. Like when he goes to fight. Yeah, and like, how will you fight me when there are 100 of me? And he splits off.
They're so little and annoying. Swooping around. There we go. Now
Go-Go-Gadget butterfly net.
Now we have. I'm gonna get you. We at least have 3.
I know our demand is to not do childish, cartoonish.
Oh, it said adventurous and fun. Both of them said have the adventurous fun here. I'd given it the fun of something like Dungeons and Dragons, Guardians of the Galaxy, like that level of. I mean, that's fantasy and sci-fi, but this
is fantastical sci-fi.
Yeah,
so.
And I would aim for that sort of thing of like one-liners and the taking away the really serious nature of the more recent Fast and the Furious movies. Sure. But that level of action and ridiculously would be fun to put in here. Yeah. Especially because getting something that the Matthew Broderick movie was missing, the Gadget Mobile.
Yeah. Well, no, it had one.
Wasn't any good.
It was not the Gadget Mobile that it should have been. No. Like you invoked Fast and Furious. I could totally see a freeway chase in which the Gadget Mobile changes right there, like during the chase.
Man. Like having a moment where it like splits in half.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And he's in one side and he's in the other, and then it comes back together.
Yeah.
Just that it keeps...
Or even just didn't they do that in Tron? Where it was a Tron car split into 2 Tron cycles.
Yeah. Just
Just
having it Go-Go-Gadget move around and like come back together. And I just think there's a fun set piece in that to have like the highway chase from Matrix Reloaded, but Inspector Gadget. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. And Penny has a sword.
Actually, that's a great scene to suggest, because while I mean I guess we technically could have something like the Ghosts, maybe one of the tech moguls. Well, no, actually, it'd be whichever one is promoting self-driving cars. Yeah. Right? And so now all of the cars are the Gadget Mobile and Gadget have to fight amongst all of these cars, trying to get in his way and stuff as he's trying to get to some sort of MacGuffin vehicle that is getting away with someone or something.
And having the innocent bystanders in the car like lose control of their car. Like so now there's innocent victims in the path that he's like, I can't blow the cars up because there's people inside screaming for their lives, but these cars are trying to kill me. Yeah. Yeah, that adds a level of fun to that set piece. Yeah. Especially if Penny and do we want to make Brain a person as opposed to a dog? Like have Brain.
I don't want to be. I like Brain being a person. I think would ruin the fun of Brain, but also being a dog isn't enough to have Brain do what Brain does.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to have like I don't want to do like a robot dog. Robot dog. My God, a robot dog, because now we're definitely in Mega Man territory. Yeah. I'm gonna throw it on the table that Brain is a person. And now we have Penny as a woman of action and Brain as like the guy at the computer kind of thing.
That feels real flim-flam to me.
Okay.
How would you feel about animating a dog? Go on. Think more Rocket Raccoon.
Are we gonna full anthropomorphic here? Is this dog gonna be capable of speech?
No. It wouldn't be full on. I'm a person hanging out with all you guys.
Hey, Penny, your uncle's driving me crazy over here.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay. But having it's a dog of action to have a German Shepherd who's able to be an attack dog.
Mm-hmm. And the reason we'd animate him like Rocket Raccoon is so that he can do more than most trained dogs could, right? Like,
Sure.
maybe he. I don't know. That's.
Well, let's put Brain aside right now. I do want Penny to be very much involved. Like, she can have a B plot of action to just be involved in the punch 'em up of this and not. She's benched in the Matthew Broderick movie by a long shot.
Yeah.
And she's very much the hero that saves the day constantly in the original series, making her a contemporary. They can still be related. Like uncle and niece is still fine by me, but I'd put her in her 20s and actually make her someone who's capable of kicking ass, is my suggestion. That's how I'm answering the demand. I don't know who I would cast in that role, but we'll worry about that later.
Well, depending on how much of what's already come that we'd want to honor, there could be the notion that Penny is still a young girl because she is also a robot. And that is how they're related. Because Inspector Gadget isn't... I mean, like, the demand is to make him... is the demand to make him a cyborg? Was he a man that has been remade? Is he a full-on robot?
Well, neither of these demands use the word cyborg. They do just use the word robot. And I see what you're suggesting then is that this is not someone who was saved like RoboCop. This is someone who was built from ones and zeros up.
Like a replicant.
Yeah.
But less fleshy.
Interesting. I'd be willing to go that way. I know that that kind of tweaks the lore a little bit because the lore does suggest that this is a man who slipped on a banana peel and became cyborg, a cyborg. But the idea that he was built from the ground up and that they are related in so much in title only. And as far as like her also being robotic, I want to keep her human, but giving her some sort of...
This is also going very Mega Man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying uncle niece, and then that could even it solves a lot of our problems if it's all robots. If our genius inventor invented Inspector Gadget and Penny to back him up and Brain, right? So I'm suggesting even Brain is a robot.
Wow. Okay, so
they're
all
robots.
There's just
now we're venturing into cyborg. Was it Cyborg number 9 or 009? There's an anime about 9 cyborgs. They're all robots. They call them cyborgs.
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that. We maybe we should pull back. And John Brown, August and Tamir was a person.
Okay.
He look like a man.
Yeah, I think I do like the notion of him being selected for this. But I don't know. There's something to him being built from the ground up, fully robotic, like he never was human. But maybe that could be part of the journey of the character, is that realization that, I guess, like a replicant, that he's always been a replicant. Moving to some... Now we can have a Mega Man reference and a Deckard reference.
Yes.
But I want Penny to be human. Okay. It's a good pitch to say that all 3 of them, and then it's just the Gadget team that is launched on crimes, robot crimes.
Yep.
But I wouldn't mind if Penny had like some sort of like cybernetic enhancement. Maybe she was someone who lost an arm in war or something, and I know that goes to iRobot territory again. But that she has enhancements on her.
How much older were you wanting to make her?
Like 20, 21. Like just making her a young woman that can actually, like, we're not putting a child in danger. I know the fun of the cartoon is that she's like 12 and she's like saving the world, but giving us the opportunity to create like a film franchise. I don't want to have a kid.
Okay.
To go Dungeons and Dragons, the Lila, the
tiefling,
the
tiefling druid.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I think I'm on board. So for that, I want to suggest even further. So
Sophia Lillis, right? That's her name. Whatever. Sorry, I was trying to remember.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm thinking Dr. Inventor, right?
The man who built Gadget.
Yeah, the man who built Gadget. Because for whatever reason, I feel like he should be older. He should be grandfatherly.
Mm-hmm.
He is Penny's grandfather.
Yeah. Okay.
She has been training to take over. That's why she had her computer book. Right in the 80s, it was a computer book.
Yeah.
Very obvious. Laptop. It's why she has her laptop.
It's a tablet.
It's why she's always backing him up,
mm-hmm.
because she's there to help out, quote unquote, Uncle Gadget, because a part of he believes he's a person. That's a part of his program. Maybe he was. Maybe they used the imprint of a person, and so the journey for him is going to be finding out. Wait, I'm not a person.
Bless you.
Well, no, you were. You were a great, wonderful person. You were so good, and we wanted to preserve what we could of you. We couldn't save you, and so we made you.
Yeah.
And so he gets to have an existential crisis with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that could even be something that Claw reveals to him in one of their confrontations in the midst of this movie.
Good old second act reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What's the truth? Who am I?
Oh, so it's like an inversion of RoboCop.
Yeah.
Right? RoboCop is like, what am I? I'm a Pinocchio. Oh no, there's a real boy inside.
I will recover.
I will be Murphy. Whereas Inspector Gadget's like, no, I'm a real person. Yeah, I got some extra bits, but I'm a real person. Then it finds out I'm not a real person. I'm a program.
Mm-hmm.
What am I? Right there's some good stuff.
Oh yeah,
there.
I think so too. Especially if we go kind of with 3-act structure, let revelation, losing touch with his dream to be human,
Mm-hmm.
And having his final, like in the midst of some of the climactic battle, for him to like kind of Iron Giant, where he like opens up all his robotics. He basically loses his human form as he transforms in a sense to like have his guns and his lasers and everything, and like he literally like stops even looking human in the final fight, and then has to in that climactic battle rediscover, what is a soul, what is humanity, and then he reconstructs himself back down to his human form in order to win the day. Those are broad strokes, but just to take this, you've pitched a good journey of what does it mean to be human, what is a soul, all that Blade Runner conversation packed in a fun adventure movie.
Yeah, and Penny is sort of the heir, the heir.
Yeah, I like that.
Of the inventor.
Yeah. Surely he has a name. I'll look on the break.
When he passes, and it's as the Matthew Broderick movie showed us, it's Odo.
That's right.
So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the daughter from that and Penny, kind of combining them, and so it's not going to be a love interest, it's going to be a familial tie.
I like that.
Sort of a familial, you understand.
I do. Yeah, and I like the notion that she is inheriting his legacy, that she would essentially maintain being his handler. Well, technically Quimby's the handler, but we'll touch on that after the fact, after this. But that she's his mechanic, sidekick, but also that she's a woman of action. She's not just in a lab like, oh, I'm going to fix you when you're broken. Like she's out there kicking ass. I think that there's some fun to be had in the difference, the dichotomy of those two types of fighters, of action heroes, that he's a robot using his punching, shooting rockets and all that, and she's out there much more hand-to-hand.
Now I see where I don't think she should be that.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean she can be out in the field, because the reason she's there, she has to be out there to make sure Gadget stays combobulated, doesn't fall apart in the field, and if he does, she is there to repair him.
Okay,
but she's a soft, fleshy person. She can't get involved with these robots and all their whirling blades and shooting lasers.
I agree. Okay, I just don't want her to. So she's not Trinity. She's not out there like on the front lines. But I don't want her to be a shrinking violet of just Gadget, save me.
She's not a damsel. She can still do all the sneaking down hallways and figuring out the plots and stuff. She can still definitely be involved in all that.
Okay, good.
And actually, to that end, that is also what she uses Brain for as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like she sends Brain to go do some more dangerous stuff.
Yeah. Sneak through this air vent, Brain.
Yeah, because Brain will be a cyborg. He will be both.
There we go. That makes Gadget a robot, Penny a human, and Brain a cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Then they kind of covering the bases of this team.
Yeah,
I like that. That's pretty fun.
And so he's a smarter than average dog, who is capable of doing more because he's also going to have his own Go-Go-Gadget kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, at the very least, he had the collar in the cartoon that had the transponder in it, so like it'd come out so he could talk to Penny.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly, I'm just remembering now, he always showed up on her watch. Where was that camera?
On one of them things.
Did the camera came out and it was
wide angle enough? Yeah.
Very wide angle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take a break here. Let's kind of structure some more of the movie here. I like where this is going. This feels good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. We'll take a quick break here. We're going to get some messages from 6.5 Media. We'll be back in just a moment to discuss more Inspector Gadget.
Oh, shit. I just had an idea.
You got it. Hold it.
Yeah, yep.
Hold that sneeze. Hold that sneeze. I'm putting my finger on your nose. Okay, I pulled my finger away.
Oh, take a break. Put that away. It's podcast time.
Yeah, I'll put that phone away.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my voice.
It's podcast time.
I started to put that away. It's podcast time.
Yep.
And in the middle of away, I started saying it's and podcast, but I cut off the piece. So put that away, podcast.
Put that a wadcast.
Put that away.
All right. I had a couple thoughts in our brief break here.
Okay.
First and foremost, do we want to discuss any casting?
Yes.
Okay.
But not yet.
Not yet? You're going to say the casting. Okay. I think I have a notion for Inspector Gadget and literally no one else. That's the only character I could think of.
Yeah.
Two things I wanted to get to is Quimby and how assignments are divvied out.
Okay.
And we have this suggestion of a mystery that Inspector Gadget is solving. That could be simple as these tech bros have been developing dangerous technology, and it's starting to look like it might all be connected. And Dr. Claw has been missing for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Basically the fear, if Quimby's like, get in here, Gadget, we have an assignment for you. Mm-hmm. Or if Penny and Gadget go to him, like, we have some concerns about this X, Y, and Z. But just Quimby's basically their point man or their handler that allows them. That, damn it, give me your badge. You guys destroy the entire Golden Gate Bridge. You're off the case. That level of involvement, as opposed to making him the dope who gets blown up in the face every time he hands off a mission.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking Quimby is who the inventor initially whistle blew to, and while they did get most of the organization, they didn't get Dr. Claw. Mm-hmm. And he's not quite in witness protection, but Quimby is the handler for that entire little team.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And so that's why Inspector Gadget has been able to go out and do things.
Do you think this would be a branch of like FBI, CIA? There's the counterterror CIA. The CTU from 24, the counter-terrorist unit, was a fabricated government organization. Is it something like that? Like, I'm trying to think.
Sure.
Where's Inspector Gadget's? What's the oversight on him?
What's the oversight on witness protection?
FBI.
I was thinking FBI because it's investigation.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that too. Just even if it's a branch of FBI or what have you.
Sure.
Just giving him a connection to the law.
Yeah.
Bigger than a cop in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Which is what
an inspector is.
An inspector is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Quimby is familiar with this entire family, mm-hmm. and has been for some time. Mm-hmm. So he is almost as much of this family as any of them. Family. Robo family.
Quimby can be played by John Goodman, and it's already a better movie for it.
Yep. So that I think is his role, and that's how they get any of their intel, if and when that's appropriate, or the reverse, when they find something out and need to tell someone, and if we were to craft it in a way where it's like, no, Gadget, none of that's happening because we would know about it. No, you're the FBI, the head FBI leader, the FBI czar.
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover's been replaced. He's a robot. He's a Dr. Claw robot. Like it could go that far where it's like, oh no, we have to go rogue now.
Well, I do love a good going rogue. You know, I love the Mission Impossible franchise, and I don't mind that. I want to stick with the tech bros being the ones who were replaced, and not the like government officials.
Sure.
I like the notion of, if you're going to take over the world, forget world leaders. It's the money. The money is going to do it.
Okay, then yeah, Quimby's basically our little group's M.
Great. Perfect. I love that. I have a thought about Dr. Claw.
So do I.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll see if we're on the same page. Go ahead.
So, as Gadget is learning about his origin, what we find out is that the man who he was, the man, we know that there was good, and that's who we wanted to replicate. We find out that that's Dr. Claw.
Ooh, I did not think about that. That's not where I was going to go.
Like
with
like in that previous time, he was good, and through all this stuff, he Darth Vadered, and that's why the inventor of Inspector Gadget was like, no, I'm gonna replicate the way I remember my friend.
So you're suggesting that then Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget are played by the same actor?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. I'll walk down this rabbit trail with you.
It's not a very far one. That's most of it right there. Well, if that's too gimmicky, we don't have to go that route.
Well, let's circle back to it. Let me throw a suggestion out there for the Dr. Claw, like the finale of this. If there's a little bit of like nearly catching him, getting the confrontation, the revelation that goes to the lowest points for Gadget. So he's like, I was never human, and the explanation of that. And then we have to have our final climactic battle where it's Gadget versus Claw, while Penny and Brain are mixing it up with all the mini bosses, right? This might not work. Well, let me try it. The revelation that Dr. Claw is also 100% a robot. That the man that became Claw would have been like elderly anyway, like
sure,
and maybe it's a notion that is sort of brushed over. So like, how old would he be? Like, there's surely a way to structure this in a fashion where it's questioned as a foreshadowing to later for the revelation. It's like, I've been replacing every bit of my body for decades. The man. It's the Dr. Claw of Theseus,
the villain of Theseus.
The villain of Theseus. Yeah, that like little by little in this pursuit of like ultimate robotics, replacing the human that once was, potentially this good man that you suggested is gone forever and replaced by this evil robot. I don't know if that works in tandem with what you just suggested. That Dr. Claw was the original template. That was John Brown or Augustin Tamir that led. I looked it up, by the way. That is the canonical name of John Brown is an alias. Oh, and Augustin Tamir was his real name. And he slipped on a banana peel and nearly died. And they made him a robot man.
And that's the
canon right there. But anyway, I don't know if that works in tandem with your idea. What do you think of the revelation?
I think it does.
Okay.
He still preserves his face because it's a movie and we need to see people's faces. So it touches on a few things. It's a fun little throwback in my opinion to the original show. We never saw Dr. Claw. It's because he looks exactly like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not revealed. Like right top or we're getting to the bottom of the second act, and Gadget gets gets to
Gets
Mad
to
headquarters.
gets Claw.
Yeah, spins the chair around,
Handcuffs
and instead of the hand and the bomb waiting for him,
he's waiting.
You
know what this is? This is a good callback to that Matthew Broderick movie with Evil Gadget.
Oh God! Now I hate it. He has to have much too large veneers. I'm you, Gadget.
I'm you, Gadget. I borrowed Jim Carrey's mouth from the Mask movies. Which one do I shoot? Which one do I shoot? Look at the veneers, Penny. You look identical to me. Do you hate the idea now?
I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm. But it's giving you pause.
It is. It is giving me pause. Is it giving you pause?
A little bit. A little bit of pause that it would be a little. Because you even suggested it might be too gimmicky to have Claw be the same actor as Gadget. But the reveal of Claw's face should.
So many reasons.
It should be a big deal.
It should be a huge deal. And if it looks like Gadget, if it is, I guess the difference though is, in that movie, the copy was meant to I'm gonna give you a bad name, ha ha ha.
Right.
This is just a gimmicky ploy.
You know what's weird? I just real gimmicky ploy. Hold that thought. I named you Jim the Sneezer just being silly.
Yeah.
But you've sneezed more in the past hour than I've heard you sneeze in the past few months.
Yes.
Combined.
Yep.
So it's my fault.
It is. You did this to me.
I dubbed you such.
Yep.
Wait. Jim the Billionaire Berzelek? Check.
Oh man, my
phone's
wallet's really.
Oh my god.
Oh my
god, guys.
It's overflowing with money. Money's everywhere.
Yeah.
There must be $1 billion here.
Your movie's greenlit. Okay, where were we?
Greenlighting movies. It fits for someone we don't see Dr. Claw's face until the moment we do, and it's a stunning revelation to our hero. That's another thing when you do reveals to an audience. I know you have a big problem with some of them, but with one that spawned this whole thing.
Yeah,
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah,
it's
Khan.
He reveals
Khan.
Yeah,
and anyone who doesn't know Star Trek goes, who?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, the people in world shouldn't know or care.
Who cares? We don't know who you are.
It's literally for the people who saw the movie from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Yeah, that and they make it this big moment. It was pointed out apparently in Spider-Man: Homecoming, wonderful movie.
Yeah.
But the scene where Andrew Garfield comes through and reveals it's him.
Yeah.
There's a big pause for an audience to have a reaction. If you don't have a reaction, if you're watching it at home and you're just okay,
that's a weird
there's
pause.
a very long, just too long. It still works for an awkward, you're Spider-Man, but you're not that. It works, but it also doesn't work.
Stop holding for the audience.
So if our reveal is it's who would be an amazing Dr. Claw?
Oh, if it's Idris Elba or something.
Sure, if it's Idris Elba, oh my goodness, why in the world of the movie, why is this a big deal? It's just a guy.
Okay.
Whereas in the world, if it is Gadget, if it's his face, or if it's the inventor.
There you go. That you got one step ahead of me.
Okay.
If it turns around,
they were twins.
Or
sure.
And to see Andy's younger. What his pursuit in robotics has done is preserved him in such a fashion, especially if he ends up being more robot than man, if not all the way robot. When that chair turns around and he's face to face with essentially his father.
It's not messing with time. Is that a little too Lightyear?
Ooh, spoiler.
Yeah. That's a spoiler. It's a spoiler for Lightyear.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Especially because we're building a bit more lore here. That is two different people. That if the partner who developed the Gadget program, who inherited the Gadget program from the decades, if not the centuries earlier, were these two men. And it's a gimmick to have the Gadget actor play Claw, but now we create a different gimmick where the elderly actor gets to play a younger version of themselves as well. It doesn't have to be like a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old or like a 30. Like we're not doing Harrison Ford here from Dial of Destiny, but just
unless
it's de-aging completely, because then you can cast someone very old. I said John Goodman. Imagine it turn around and you get a Dan Connor era, Roseanne era. John Goodman turns around and be like, "Hello, Gadget." I don't know if John Goodman's the right choice here. No, I said John Goodman was Quimby, right?
Quimby, yeah.
But having it be the creator's face,
I kind of like that.
I do too, because now it'll make sense to the audience and in world, and it affects Penny just as much as it would affect Gadget.
Yeah. In that reveal, so it's suggested they're twins. In the reveal, does it reveal that her grandfather, Gadget's creator, is a robot? Like, is Dr. Claw the original person?
Ooh.
And that it's just been robots?
Maybe. That does set us up for a difficult finale. If it's supposed to be Gadget versus Claw, this elderly man is not going to put up much of a fight. But if this elderly man is, in fact, a robot...
No, yeah, okay, no, yeah, let's keep it that way.
Okay.
That's Erskine has died.
Dr. Erskine.
Yeah.
So we're getting Stanley Tucci to come back and play a doctor who created a super soldier.
And he will be Dr. Claw.
And he gets to play Dr. Claw. Tucci Palooza here, folks.
Duo Tucci. Tucci?
Tucci's.
Tucci.
What's even... you know what? What's excellent about this, let's say we pick Stanley Tucci. He can do all the press junkets because he's playing a known quantity.
Yeah.
So, like, the reveal of Dr. Claw in movie, like, hiding Claw or, like, hiring someone that you're, like, waiting the whole movie for Idris Elba to show up because you know it's him. But now if it's Stanley Tucci, when he turns around and be like, "What?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. What's happening here?" And then Gadget looks at him and goes, wait, I'm confused. What's happening here? And the audience goes, "That's what I just asked. I just asked the same question as he asked." Okay, let's see what the explanation is.
And they've already explained because
I missed
everyone's
it. What
talking
happened?
too much. We're going to have to watch the movie again.
Shh. Do you guys mind?
2 tickets for the price of 1.
Tucci tickets for the price of 1?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, I like that.
Yes. Well done.
I thought I had another point I wanted to touch on. I don't think I did. Now we can get to casting.
Okay. So, let me just breeze over what we got here now. So we have cold open of Inspector Gadget doing Inspector Gadget-y things. We get to see him in action.
Solving a crime.
Solve some crime. Cold open, James Bond style.
Mm-hmm.
But, fun, light. This is a PG-13.
And something robot-oriented.
Yeah, and plant the seed that starts the investigation of like, hey, good job, Gadget. You did your thing. The FBI gives you the thumbs up of approval. Right. We have some thoughts in the debrief. There's something going on. First clue leading us down the path towards the billionaire robots and leading us all to Dr. Claw. The revelation of Dr. Claw coming at about the midway point, confronting him. In the midst of that, the revelation of his face, and oh my God, it's my creator.
I remembered the final thing I wanted to have. Claw's defeated.
Yeah. This is near the end.
What?
Isn't this near the end?
Oh, yeah. If keep going. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Then Claw gets away. They reorganize.
Reconvene.
Recombobulate.
Yep.
Deal with the existential crisis. Get back in action. Go out. Fight Claw to the bitter end. Good guys win.
Yay.
At some point early in the movie, maybe like the first like major beat, once the investigation has begun and they're now in territory they shouldn't be, is that when that's when our doctor is killed.
Probably, yeah.
And then now it's personal, and now really doggedly pursue this. The revelation of Claw, the existential crisis, climactic finale. Boom. Big broad strokes there, folks, with plenty of subplot to develop in between.
The one little bit that I want to include.
Yeah.
Our characters may not find it out. Maybe it's a stinger. Maybe it's just a.
We were told to make a trilogy, so.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Claw's brain is not. They think he's a robot. Claw's brain is in the cat. The cat is a robot that holds Claw's brain.
So it's sort of, he has an external hard drive that he keeps near him at all times.
Yes.
that his brain is protected in.
Yes.
The cat's is the brain of Dr. Claw.
Yes.
I don't know how we're going to reveal that, but yes.
Well, somewhere in the final fight, the cat goes running, like it gets too
away.
much, and the cat goes running off.
I just realized.
Brain may chase it a little bit, but it ultimately gets away
let
somewhere.
The cat go.
Oh, and maybe even Claw is trying to get to an escape hatch or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Stanley Tucci crawling toward an escape hatch, and we see the cat inside like slap at a button, and the door closes, and it gets away, and he's like, "No,
my brain."
Yeah.
I just thought of a comparable. If we were going to try to sell this as tonally and maybe not stylistically, but we've referenced, like I said, Guardians and Dungeons and Dragons, but Fast and the Furious, the Sonic movies. I think that's sort of in the ballpark we would want to play in.
To try to honor at least the first demand a bit more.
Yeah.
I'd want to pull away from Sonic.
Okay, is that a little too kiddie?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd rather embrace the bizarre and weird on the Guardians of the Galaxy level of embracing the weird, which is still, it's not family unfriendly.
Right, but we will hear the word bullshit in this movie.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. That this should be PG-13, like mid to high PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on there. Yeah, okay. Strike the record. I'd like to strike from the record the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy.
Because Sonic and Pikachu, technically by invoking those, could also take us into bipedal cartoon animal territory,
and I don't want
that's a bridge too far. I'm gonna get as close to that bridge as I can
with Robot Dog.
With Robot Dog, but I understand we won't go that far.
Sorry, Andy Serkis will play Brain, I'm supposing.
No, just the cat.
Just the cat. Okay. Okay. Sorry. So you had a notion for? Oh no,
that was it. The notion was
that the brain's
that
in the cat.
Dr. Claw's hard drive, his brain, is actually in
downloaded
this fat cat.
I dig it. I don't. I know the original demand was to pitch a trilogy. We're just doing one movie right now.
Right now, yeah.
Casting. I like the idea of Stanley Tucci playing Dr. Claw.
So do I.
Yeah. I don't really have any.
That's an organic casting, and there it is.
There it is. I don't have any notion for Penny.
When you were giving sort of like the age type by suggesting, I don't know her name, the girl from D&D and It.
Oh, Sophia Lilas.
Her.
Yeah.
I think she'd be great.
Yeah. I'd be willing. Yeah, I'd be willing to consider her for that if we have to pick someone, which is part of the demand. I'd be willing to go into non-blonde haired blue eyes, like a person of color. We don't have to follow the template of Penny being a blonde haired blue eye little girl.
Well, no, Sophia has red hair.
It's true. You've done it. You've diversified the role. Good job, Jim. Yes. I want to make sure Jim gets credit for that. No, just that I think that's a bit of casting that there's room for diversity in that casting.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna make a fight about it, but just I see you getting angry. Calm down.
Red pill.
But Jesus, Quimby. We said John Goodman, but again, that's another role that could be opened up to
sure.
diverse casting. Or
Nick Offerman.
Oh yeah.
He's got the mustache.
He once upon a time did have the mustache. But Gadget. Who is our Gadget in this movie?
So I'm gonna reveal the magician's tricks. A part of the way this whole thing started was I told TC I'd be willing to do this. I have it all started with a casting for.
He didn't tell me what the casting was.
I told him what it rhymed with.
He said what it rhymes with. I have not deciphered it.
You haven't?
No.
How far have you gotten?
It's just too difficult.
The original clue.
Yes, please.
Was the actor's name rhymes
to play Inspector Gadget.
Shman Shmina.
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Real life human cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
No one better to play a robot man. John Cena.
John Cena as Inspector Gadget?
I think John Cena as Inspector Gadget would be a lot of fun.
The idea that obviously you said Shman Shmina. I'm like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I love that. And the notion of someone being crammed with all sorts of technology, they would have to be gigantic.
Yes.
And it's John Cena, not just one of the most charming human beings ever.
He is.
Like,
can you imagine him in that it's supposed to kind of be like a not a Stetson,
a fedora.
It's supposed to be like a fedora, but the way it ends up looking on Inspector Gadget is almost like a bucket hat.
Yeah.
And just seeing John Cena in this like tugged down fedora bucket hat thing.
Yeah.
And wrapped up in a gray trench
coat.
Whipping out his arm and saying "Go-Go-Gadget
flamethrower." Yeah, 100%.
Pulling on his finger to reveal like a garrote. I don't know why it's a garrote. I don't know why I went there. He's not a murderer.
He's a piano wire. He's choking people in this movie.
I've inspected you to death.
Actually, you know what? I thought of a PG-13 movie that would be more of what we're talking about. Argyle. Speaking of John Cena.
Oh, sure. There you go.
What is Matthew Vaughn doing? Should he be directing Inspector Gadget?
No, probably not.
Probably.
Argyle did not go over well.
The twisted mind of I just blanked on his name and I literally just said it.
Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah. I'm too busy imagining John Cena in a bucket hat.
John Cena.
I honestly, having him in that outfit, I'd like his color palette to be very neutral, gray and black and white, but to actually see him in the trench coat and hat, I wouldn't want him in that the whole movie like Matthew Broderick was. I would like to see him have different outfits. Does that break you? Is that a line too far?
I'm trying to decide. I think it's a line too far for me. I think that I'd be up. I would listen to what you have to pitch, other than just wanting to see other outfits. So the reason and justification, because the thing is, it's sort of a part of his identity because he's a robot. So that's almost like that's his RoboCop skin,
right? But I'm thinking like Indiana Jones has a very specific look about him, but he's had a dozen outfits over the course of those movies. The jacket comes off, the sleeves come off. He's like, he has variations of the same outfit over the course of his movie library. And so to just stick him in that trench coat the entire movie is very silly, cartoonish, and I would like to think that we could come up with unique ways to constantly evoke the look of Inspector Gadget in various outfits. Particularly if he has to go to like a gala and infiltrate a gala, throwing him in a tuxedo, giving him a James Bond look.
Okay,
like constantly
I can see a couple scenes where I think it needs to be the look he returns to, though.
Yeah, like regularly, if he has his
because I'm thinking Iron Man, Captain America, there is an iconic look.
Yes,
and that is Inspector Gadget's iconic look.
Mm-hmm.
To have him not in that for most of the movie, I think would be an error.
I'm suggesting that he's always in some sort of variation of it, that it's always evoking it. Because even Iron Man and Captain America have had multiple versions of their outfit.
In a single movie?
Yeah. Captain America Winter Soldier, he has the more like spy version one.
Okay. In the second one, we can talk about
it. Okay, fine. Also, the idea of him taking his jacket off and revealing his arms and having all these like compartments, like
seeing the seams
of all the things he has in his arms, I think is a cool. Like,
that could be very cool. Yes,
yeah. Because the outfit, the jacket, never had any tech to it.
That's not true.
The jacket.
Oh, when he blew up.
That's right. Okay. All right.
The most important one, Go-Go-Gadget cushion. No, I see what you're saying. I still think it's the iconic look he needs to return to regularly.
I agree to that.
But I can see doing other things here and there.
Good. Okay.
Just like other cartoon and comic characters will, like Hellboy will take his jacket off.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man does get out of his suit.
Yeah. Cyclops in the cartoon has his casual wear, but he goes back in action to the blue with the yellow and the visor. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we met on the middle on that. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing there.
He doesn't have to be making breakfast in the fedora and jacket.
That's my concern. That's silly. Let's remove that. And plus, you get to see John Cena, more of his
You
physique.
can't see John Cena.
Oh, that's right. I can't see
I'm doing
him.
the hand.
He is doing the hand thing. He's doing the hand thing, everyone. Okay, so what's left on the table here?
We didn't cast Brain. I don't know if Brain really needs to be cast, because I would want his talking to be similar to what it is in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like ruh-roh at the most kind of thing.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. So our Zuckerberg, Musk, and Bezos, whatever we rename those guys, they will clearly be who they are.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to be confused by who Jeff Bezos is. It's Geoff, Geoff. I think that's fun. Like whatever, those are like the three mini bosses to fight over the course of the movie. But it might be fun to have some other like Richard Branson and
sure.
Mark Cuban, like some other billionaires out there.
Suggesting
Ooh,
a number of them have been converted.
What'd be fun is a misdirect of someone who claims to be a billionaire that Inspector Gadget fights that's not a robot. Like punching someone in the face who's like, ah, oh no, you're not a robot. I thought you were replaced. Because I think a little bit...
I was promised all I had to do was deliver this and he would convert me.
having a little bit of bumbling, like mistake stuff
in
this is gonna, keep the Inspector Gadget,
keep that fun lightness.
Yeah. Just popping someone between the eyes and breaking their nose, like I'm not a robot yet.
Oh, wait, the sound you just made sounded just like Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman?
No, not Jason. The voice of Sonic.
Oh, Josh Schwartz.
Oh my God. And I can't remember his Parks and Rec name.
John Raffio.
Yeah.
It sounded like him when I just did. So,
yeah.
Hey, watching John Cena punch him in the face is fun. Yeah. Ben Schwartz. Thank you.
Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz is the voice of Sonic.
Yeah.
We got there. Those of you yelling at us. Okay. With that, like do you like the final throwdown being Gadget going full Gadget mode, practically a Optimus Prime Transformer versus a mecha Claw, and then beating them down to their human forms as Gadget rediscovers what it means to have a soul and be human, and then ultimately defeating him. I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah, I guess without getting into the specifics of
what
everything that means.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Cool.
That notion.
All right, then
that broad stroke.
If that works as a total first film, do you want to just quickly brainstorm two more movies?
Sure.
Like we don't have to go into like great detail.
Well, yeah, right. We've cast the character. We've created the pseudo origin.
Yeah. So then, what's our two more?
What are the follow-ups?
Do you want to save Dr. Claw for the third one, and like have the second one be a different villain?
Maybe it should probably be Claw, related to Claw somehow. Really, what it should be is the second one he gets a wife, and then the third one he has to have an encounter with his father. I'm making a joke that every
standard
every family movie trilogy does that.
According to ZBGB here, the 2015 to 2018 cartoon series introduced Dr. Claw's nephew Talon. So that could be the villain for the second movie. Is like a young tech bro who is so now you got to fight essentially like an 18-year-old bad guy, a tech douche.
Using the power of youth.
Or using the power of utilizing something like intangible. Like, I love a good throwback You Don't Understand the Internet movie that we got from the 90s. It's like, that's not how the internet ended up working, but having someone who is basically ones and zeros.
Right now it's all algorithms and AIs. That's what that is right now.
How do I punch zeros and ones, Penny?
Yeah.
Right. So figuring out a way to
punch zeros and ones.
Draw the ones and zeros out into reality, so then you can punch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually the comment Klaus, I wonder if he's Dr. Klaus. With AI and robotics advancing faster and faster, blah blah blah. The notion of AI being the villain in the second one, and Gadget can't Go-Go-Gadget punch anything. So then, yeah, I've already made my case for that.
What if? So sort of like right now, there's a certain. We'll see how many, but certain AIs are sort of falling through, and it's being revealed that it's actually just outsourced to
it's people from India,
yeah,
like doing everything.
What if in the second one we find out that Thorn's AI, Talon's AI is just Claw?
Right?
It's just been Claw behind the scenes
the whole time.
It doesn't. No, that was more of a joke.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke. I laughed.
Thank you. Good enough to be the movie? No, just joking.
Whoa,
if you like it though.
Yeah, I did like it.
Oh, good enough to be the movie. I was serious. We'll
make that decision later. We'll have to make it
no, I was joking then.
Yeah, I was kidding too.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. Third movie. Clawback again.
Yeah, so I was joking, but somewhere in somewhere in the end of the second movie, it should be revealed that Claw was moving around in the background doing something or other,
involved in some sort of puppet master kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw this for the third option. Kind of goes back to an initial idea I had of scavenging the history of robotics to create bad guys.
Okay.
If that's sort of like the idea for the third one, is that Claw is stealing tech throughout, like tech from history, in order to, I don't know, mechanize himself the ultimate form, because he has the entire history of robotics built into his form.
Now I'm more on board with doing that, and so I'd be okay. So basically, it almost becomes more of a scavenger hunt, where they need to try to beat Claw to activating old, hidden caches of robots, going further and further back in time.
So if like the and you get it. Yeah, I think that there could be some fun to be had in there, and watching Inspector Gadget and Penny and Brain fight these like different robots from history, a terracotta warrior looking one, and like a doughboy from World War from the World War. Like, yeah, I think there's some. So honestly, you evoked Hellboy earlier. That is one of the coolest like second tier villains in that first Hellboy movie.
The Clockwork Nazi.
The Clockwork Nazi. I mean, that's messed up, but
yeah,
it's cool. Like that is like a neat bad guy.
I think actually even trying to maybe trying to even tie it into the second one, because rather than having them be episodic, actually trying to connect them. What if Talon? I don't want to make Talon a clone of Dr. Claw, but I wouldn't be against that. Young Stanley Tucci.
You hear that, Tooch? We're gonna de-age you. Not that we need to de-age him too much. He's a timeless man.
He is. No, it doesn't have to be that. He could actually just be the nephew. But to somehow reference again the legacy of what's happening.
Yeah.
Have Talon like. Maybe this should be saved for the third, but essentially the idea, somewhere along the lines, have Claw, get a hold of, his old compatriots, all the scientists that were arrested in the 80s or whenever it was, and they're all old men, and women, and he's plucking them from the prisons that they've been stuck in for decades, or even digging up their graves. And we meet them again in the third one, and they're all heads in jars. They're all floating around in heads in jars.
Yeah.
And so they're his minions, and they're helping him because they're all going to remember where all of those caches are.
I like that for the third one. That for the third one. That the way to find all these robots for the past 2 centuries or however far back or we want to go, decades, what have you, is to have access to the brains, the reanimated heads.
He's literally getting the band back together.
Yeah, I like that.
Of Mad.
There's your third one right there.
Yeah.
For the second one, You got something there. Making Talon a clone that of Claw,
sure,
and fully human. There's nothing robotic about this guy, and
to the end that like is the third act. Well, is maybe the second act is we find out there's a bunch of Talons.
I wouldn't mind, like they defeat him and then like 4 more pop out and it's just like an army, a clone army of. Well, I just like the notion of if it's initially how do I fight ones and zeros, only to discover it's being led by this fully human young clone of Claw, and then I can punch that, boom, and now there's a freaking army that controls the ones and zeros. Yeah, there you go.
So we find out there isn't an AI. It really is just
him. Yes. Yes. There's no AI. It's just a room full of 100
Talons.
100 Talons.
Yeah.
And they're all this like whatever like 18-year-old actor we want to get to come in here and play young Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, but then heads in jars and reactivating old robots? Dude, we got 3 good movies here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't even right, and we built the mysteries, the investigation that is going to happen in the second and third one. So good on us.
I thought of a subplot for movie 2. We've got a young handsome man.
I didn't bring it up because I'm a
Jim
hater of love.
Jim hates love.
I hate love.
Jim hates love.
Hate it.
Penny and Penny and Talon. Yep, I'm saying it. You already had it in your head. You do love love.
It's one of my rare New Year's resolutions. I was going to be nicer to love this year.
So
okay, TC.
So Penny and Talon have a thing, and then the betrayal is revealed. You love it.
I'm not
love
sneezing
love
anymore. I'm
Jim upchucking Berzellic.
Cooties.
I like that. The 3 movies have like 3 distinct, like they could stand alone. They do make a trilogy in terms of following Claw's machinations. Gadget being our main character, we didn't really give him much of a journey. Like the first movie, I feel like we did. Like, is there anything we go kind of Data from Star Trek? Like he's constantly trying to get in touch with humanity.
I don't know if I want to make that. We can touch on it in the second one, but I don't know if that's going to be his arc in that one, or if anything, it's having to struggle with. I think juxtaposing it with the reveal of Talon. Maybe Talon just straight up is a clone, not like initially reveals himself as the nephew, but very quickly is like, I'm a clone. I'm obviously a clone.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I like that.
And so now maybe just having to deal with almost the notion of jealousy of why does this terrible monster get to be a person and I'm just this swole robot.
Swole robot. Or alternatively, just having someone who is happy. Like I know you love The Mummy, and I know that Mummy Returns you tolerate it, right?
Yeah.
But Rick is who he is. Like Rick O'Connell as a character in The Mummy, like he grows up and he comes into his own. But for the most part, he's exactly who he's always been. Indiana Jones goes through his like it's not the years, it's the mileage, and he has like a small arc. But in general, he's exactly who he is. So having Inspector Gadget be maybe a little bit of like what is it to be human, but making him like I'm okay, I am who I am, and that's not something that I'm struggling with.
I know I made a joke about like the traditional story arcs. Maybe the story arc is watching Penny. It really would be just for like one act though, where she'd be like, I met this boy. Well, it turns out the boy's a villain. Okay, I guess that's done.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not a thing to hang too many hats on.
Yeah.
But
bucket
just
hats.
The bucket hats. Yeah. The direction I'm going is the idea of having to let Penny grow up, right? So he's not quite an empty nester type thing, because he won't be, because she's going to be there the whole time, but she's growing into being hell, even in the first one, she's essentially an independent adult.
Yeah.
But even more so, like the entire notion of her meeting someone makes him realize I'm going to be alone
Should I meet
or if I'm
someone
not,
too?
if I'm not alone, am I stunting her
Mhm.
for like should I?
Yeah, I see what you're
Am I
saying.
making sense?
Yeah. That tracks. Because then you create a notion of him questioning whether or not he should pursue. Is that something that he wants, or
Mhm.
is he content being on his own, which is perfectly fine too. And I honestly I don't know if that's explored enough. I know we're kind of getting into the grander
Yeah.
spectrum of mainstream big tentpole movies.
Mhm.
How often is being asexual portrayed in film? Someone who's like,
Oh, like almost never.
yeah, so like someone who's like, I'm happy with myself. I'm not suggesting that we fully lean
Oh,
into
I'm
that.
not even talking about that type of partnership. Just the asexual doesn't necessarily mean wanting like being cool with being alone.
Yeah.
That's more what I was thinking he was having. I see what you're saying. That can
Mhm.
be a part of it as well.
Yeah.
But just the like I'm a robot, and even the one person who hung out with me
It's
will one day
leave
go.
me.
Yeah.
And then and then question that was the potential subplot of like, do I need someone else to be fulfilled, or am I fulfilled
Yeah.
without someone?
Sure.
And I don't mind that as like a small subplot
Yeah.
for the second movie, and then the third movie being if the third movie is the biggest one, we're ending the franchise with a bang. It might be worth introducing like more agents and more like if the organization, the Gadget organization, might be growing. I don't know.
I think. Oh, okay. Well, to that end, I think the third one. By the end of the second one, the Gadget organization, I would say, is becoming exactly that. It's becoming its own organization. It is
Mhm.
now public enough. It's no longer just an FBI
Oh,
niche
yeah.
thing. Like maybe they become a investigation company
Or just a
unto
branch of the FBI.
Sure.
Like and go ahead.
Well, I was thinking by the end of the third one, not every robot that's activated
I'm nodding.
is destroyed as an evil villain thing.
Yes.
So at the very end of the third one, we end up with Gadget and friends. Like, and
Yes.
it's a handful, not all, but like
A
like
dozen,
two or
like
three,
6, 7.
2 or 3 Penny was able to get to and
Oh, okay, yeah.
reprogram.
Yeah, like
right?
just a small number. I like that.
Yeah.
And I'd go so far as to
And new ones are in the works.
Yes.
Penny is now she's gone from just being the repair tech for Gadget to
making
creating whole new robots.
And I'd like to suggest that in the end of the third one, in the final confrontation, Gadget is like, especially because we're introducing old robots who still serve a purpose.
Mhm.
If Gadget is broken in such a way that he, as simple as he has a limp and has to carry a cane now, so that he could end the trilogy with taking over Quimby's position of
And becoming Commissioner Gadget.
in a sense where he's like, I'm not going to be able to be out on the field forever, even if I am a forever being. That's why we have a new generation to go forth from here, but I can still be called into action. That kind of thing.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
seeing him hang his hat at the desk and being like, cool, I'm chief now. Oh, I got to get back out on the street. I got to get back out on the streets. I'll take that mission. Like, just the notion that he becomes the leader of the Gadget.
He becomes the leader of the Department of Gadget Inspectors.
Yes. the DGP. The DGI. The DGI. There you
go.
Yeah. Yes. The trilogy that is Inspector Gadget, ladies and gentlemen. Once that ball got rolling, we couldn't be stopped, Jim.
Yeah? No, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna.
That's what happens with balls.
They just keep rolling.
Yeah.
Klaus, ZB, how did we do? We didn't give you a specific casting for Penny. You suggested Sophia Elias, and I was like, be diverse. Cool. I'm gonna end here. I'll give you, Jim, your time to think as I wrap it up here. How did we do? We specifically want to hear from Klaus and or ZB. If you guys want to hit us up, that's fine. But we'd love to know, anyone listening, how did we do today? Did we meet the demand? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What did we miss? What could we elaborate on? We've been getting a lot of great comments through our Patreon. We've people been hitting us up on through the main site with just responses, and you've been messaging us directly. with ideas. Oh,
and we're getting a little bit on Reddit and the Discord.
And we'll get there in just a moment, but you can message us directly at studiodemandsit.com or on Instagram at studiodemandsit. If you are not already, you can subscribe to us on any of your podcast players of choice. And if you feel like giving us a little review, 5 stars or less, it's fine. It can go a long way to helping getting us out into the algorithm. And thank you for all the new listeners we've been getting for season 5. Our numbers have been going up since Mystery Inc. and the table read, and we're just really, it's just exciting to see more people discovering the show and sending us messages. You can find us on YouTube and TikTok as well, where we post video content not included on the show, including a commentary track highlights reel from Inspector Gadget. Jim, you just mentioned it. What do you got?
So you can also reach out to us and have conversations on our subreddit, r/Studio Demands It.
I love conversations.
And same with Discord, which you can find the invite link to on our website, www.studiodemandsit.com.
And the with Discord, you've been having some great engagement with the listeners who've been giving feedback on some of the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that. Like, especially when I say, did we miss anything? You guys have been catching, you listeners have been catching some stuff that are like, oh, what about this? What about this? It's fun for you to help brainstorm with us. Like, oh, we missed this section of the whiteboard. Yeah.
It's fun for us as well.
Yeah. And I want to do a quick plug for our Patreon for a couple bucks a month, or you can also become a member for free. You can get episodes early, as well as extended double-length episodes and movie commentary tracks. And you can also show us some love by subscribing for free, which I already said that. And of course, 6.5 Media, thank you for being our godfather, our podcast daddy who gives us this playground. So thank you. Please check out everything 6.5 does if you're interested. Another Zelda podcast. I always got to plug that. So, but that will do it for this episode. Jim, any final thoughts? Go, Jim.
Should it go all the way back to Frankenstein? Like, is Adam is he the original robot, right? Because he was assembled.
Project Frankenstein is the original, like, and the inception of the Gadget program.
And is Adam Claw?
Oh, now you've added a new thing to the mix here.
Is that too much?
That might be a little much, but I like the notion that it goes all the way back to Frankenstein.
Because then what it does is it touches on the notion of people, bodies, flesh can be assembled like robots,
mm-hmm.
which would then possibly suggest some dark directions for Gadget to become a person, whereas Claw in the first one reveals he's been replacing parts of his bodies all these years.
Yeah.
What if Gadget were to start replacing parts of his body with body parts?
He would never do that. That's horrible.
Yes, that's villain. That's villainous territory.
That's villain territory. But the idea of that third one slowly revealing older and older robots going back and back, that in the final battle, Gadget versus Claw, if Claw's like, we've fought this before, Gadget. I know how this could go. So you're not going to fight me. You're going to fight the original Gadget. And then frickin' Frankenstein comes out and is like,
Inspector Frankenstein!
It's okay to call me that because my dad's name was Dr. Frankenstein and I'm his son, thus my surname is Frankenstein. That's what he yells.
Yeah.
It's in the script.
Yeah.
That's the dialogue we wrote.
His name is Adam. It's because he's,
The Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the fact, the Gadget program going back all the way to Frankenstein, I love it.
Is it too goofy if Frankenstein is one of the rehabilitated ones?
In the end?
No,
not goofy at all.
It's incredibly goofy. Imagining Frankenstein and a handful of robots in gray trench coats and fedoras.
And it's
getting their badges.
And it's played by Dave Bautista. You're welcome, Dave. Nah, you know what? He's becoming more of a serious actor. He probably wouldn't want to do this. But you know who would? Jason Momoa. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We will hear you next. You'll hear us next time. That's how I end the show. Bye.
Bye.